I found out very quickly that nobody makes makeup in Kenya, so I had to find
There was a gap.
manufacturers
Yeah,
abroad.
Suzie Beauty launched in 2009 officially, or
No. So the journey started in 2009. It was a 3-year-long journey.
oh wow,
Yeah.
So 2012 was
Yes.
wow.
2012 is
That
when.
is,
So
but
it's been in the market 12 years now.
wow, that's a really long time. I forgot to ask you, how did Suzie Dada start?
SB Dada.
The SB Dada.
The new baby. So I ran Suzie Beauty under the Flame Tree Group for a 5-year sort of sign on, which I wanted to do because I needed to make sure the brand continues.
Yeah. 2018. How did CNN approach you?
Oh yeah, they called me for an interview, and I'm like, it's okay. So
Because they called you the face of beauty, actually. Yeah.
the face of African beauty.
Yeah. Everybody, welcome to Tide Talks with me, Tyrone Kimani. Tide Talks aspires to inspire the current and future generations by telling the stories of people who have made it to the top of their careers. Today, I'm very excited to have my second guest, someone who I've known for a very long time. She is a pioneer. She's the first person who brought a beauty line to Kenya. She's won multiple accolades, including 2018. She was the face of CNN African Voices. She's also a fellow podcaster, a mother, a wife, and just an amazing person. I'm pleased to introduce you to you, Suzie Wokabi.
Hello.
Hi, Suzie. Thanks for coming.
So happy to be here.
Okay, let's start. Tell me about your childhood in Nanyuki.
Actually, not Nanyuki. So I was born in Nakuru.
Oh, Nakuru.
But grew up in Nairobi. So my dad was in the army. So that's what that bitch was. But when I was maybe born or soon after, he retired as a major.
Yeah.
So then we moved to Nairobi. So
Okay.
upbringing was in
Nakuru.
Nairobi.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then maybe you can tell me a bit about your early childhood memories or like your friends, your schools.
Yeah. So schooling was Consolata, nursery and primary. Primary school was, I think, some of my fondest memories and times. I grew up in Lower Kabete. And so my siblings I have 3 older siblings.
So you're the last one.
I'm the last one. I'm such a last one.
I think I know Lisa. I don't know the other two.
Yeah, Lisa, then Mona, Mark, and me. And so I always say, like, I had 5 parents growing up.
Yeah.
And then, Consolata was a vibe.
Yeah.
I still have like a lot of, my best friend, I met her when I was 6 in Consolata, Kathy. And so a lot of close friendships were built.
Yeah.
School was fine. It was, I was above average.
Yeah.
A top swimmer.
Do you still swim?
For fun.
Yeah.
Recreational. In Zanzibar. Yeah.
Oh.
Very recreationally. Oh, we were in, what time was the other day? My boys win me now.
Wow. Yeah.
And I thought I was super extra fast.
Yeah.
Anyway. Then I went to Kianda High School, which was different. All girls school.
Yeah.
Very strict.
Yeah.
Very Catholic. Opus Dei, actually. Still have a few friends from there. Graduated well. And then thereafter went to USIU. But then there was, the 9-month break because we finished in December. Then USIU starts in September.
So what did you do for those 9 months?
In those 9 months, I did a bunch of stuff. My mom had me go to, those days there was secretarial school where you go and learn how to type. So I can type like 180 words a minute, like still, like I can type like this, looking up. And then I did German. Okay, so I have this like flair for languages.
Yeah.
In fact, my highest grade in KCSE was French.
Yeah.
I got an A.
Tu parles français?
Oh, beaucoup. And then I did German during those
9 months.
9 months and driving.
So you learned
I went to driving school. Right? So then I started USIU in September.
So before you went to USIU, you know, like girls learn how to experiment with makeup. When did you like first experiment with makeup?
Good question. So I was that kid, like stealing my mom's lipstick,
Yeah.
eyeliner. But we weren't wearing makeup really,
Yeah.
like in high school even, like compared to what goes on now.
Yeah, now it's like you can't go to high school without wearing makeup as a
I
woman
pick up
or
my
girl,
son from
sorry.
school and girls are walking out with lip gloss on their
Yeah.
lips and eyeshadow on their eyes, right? So just like dabbling and my big sisters would have like their stuff and I'm playing with their whatever. But by the time now I was in college, like I was okay. First, I plucked my eyebrows for the first time when I was 13, which was not successful,
Yeah.
but I did. And then I was that chick like in college with my girlfriends. I was the one who's doing everyone's makeup when we're going out.
Oh.
Making sure everyone's eyebrows look good. I have an eyebrow fetish. Like
Yeah.
it's a thing. And then only after I graduated college is when I went to dabble in the beauty industry properly and realized it could be a career.
Let's rewind a bit. So what did you study when to USIU?
International relations.
Wow, from international relations to
with a minor in sociology.
Oh wow.
So not related. But somebody told me the other day, they made me feel very good about myself because I'm like, my thinking with choosing international relations is like, I could possibly, because I told you about the flair for languages.
Yes, you
So
did.
maybe like be a translator at the UN or something.
Yeah.
So like, have the international relations story adding to it. But I did not like anything about my IR courses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was not the one. But somebody told me, I was like, actually, I've been a diplomat. That's what the end goal was.
Yeah.
And they're like, but you're a diplomat of beauty. You go speaking
That's
around the
true.
world about beauty. I'm like, so it all
That's
came
spot
full
on.
circle.
Yeah, that is full circle.
Yeah.
And then from USIU, you graduated. Did you stay in Kenya a bit or you went straight to the States?
No, so my USIU journey was 3 years here in the Nairobi campus. And then those many years ago, there was a campus in
California,
Mexico, in San Diego, and
Yeah.
in London as well. My mom was being transferred. She worked for the World Bank for many years. She was being transferred to the DC office for a project. And so I had the option of finishing here my last year or going to the US.
Yeah.
So I opted to go, and so I did my last year in San Diego, and that's where I graduated out of.
San Diego is very beautiful,
It
like
is.
California, yeah.
Yeah.
And then while you're in San Diego, did you continue like practicing with makeup or just?
Oh yeah. Like yeah, I was still doing what I was doing.
Your
Yeah,
passion,
like
yeah.
exactly. Running. Forcing everyone to sit in my chair and like play with makeup, but not thinking it's a potential
Be a career. Yeah. And after you graduated in San Diego, did you start working?
So then
or-
I just like got into sort of entry level jobs in corporate America just to understand the landscape.
Yeah.
And then my sister Lisa was in New York, and so she was working in fashion. She had this fancy life, like working for like
So that's
Giorgio
now the offering
Armani
door.
and
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, I like that stuff. Whatever she's sort of. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fashionista, but I'm like, I like this life that she's
Yeah.
living. She's like, come over to New York and see.
Yeah.
So that's when I moved over. So just like a year after graduating.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so fashion is many things.
Yeah,
so
that's
fashion
true.
is
Clothing.
apparel,
Yeah.
it's eyewear, it's beauty, it's accessories.
That's true.
And I dabbled in each.
Yeah.
Just like trying to understand what I actually like. And that's where, so one of my jobs was in beauty.
Yeah.
So I worked for Clinique. They gave me an entry level job, which they trained from scratch and whatever. And that's where I was like, I love this
Like
thing.
this, yeah.
I love many things about this. But I was working in retail, which I didn't love. My second job in beauty was at MAC, which was also in retail. I'm like, I don't like this retail story.
Yeah.
My bread and butter job, I don't know why, I always ended up in the eyewear industry.
Yeah.
So I was working for like, so how it works is like the big brands, your Tommy Hilfigers, your Gucci's, whatever,
Yeah.
they license out like the accessories and the eyewear to a company.
I get you. Yeah.
So that I worked for those type of companies. Like that was my like corporate job.
Yeah.
While I just sort of freelance in makeup, honing my skills, working on like every evening and weekends, models and photographers, building my portfolio.
Because living in New York is not cheap.
It's not.
Yeah.
Second of all, getting like a really good makeup gig, like backstage at New York Fashion Week.
Yeah.
You're working for free.
Yeah.
Even getting that free gig, you're waiting after 100 people.
Yeah.
So that was not the bread and butter story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, as you are working for a clinic, did Mac notice like your talent, or who noticed your talent actually?
Yeah. So I when I was working for clinic, so it was a nice jump into the industry, and they train really well. And I for me selling makeup was very easy. Like I don't understand how anyone doesn't sell 100 billion products a day.
Yeah.
But I was eyeing Mac because I'm like, they're like full on makeup and like these guys like with their eyes like I'm like, I want that.
Yes.
But it took a lot to get into Mac.
Yeah.
They wouldn't take less than like 2 years of experience and that like things, right? And then you're also interviewing after 100 other people. So I hounded and I stuck with it, and I went for
blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah. Until they took me in. Yeah.
And how long did you work for Mac?
For Mac, I freelanced for them for 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
And then is that when you knew you wanted to come back to Kenya, or you?
I always knew I was coming back.
Yeah.
Even when I left, it was a temporary show.
Just a transition.
Yeah. And then because home is home.
Yeah.
So I hooked up with my now husband.
I was about to ask you, where did you meet Eric?
Yeah. So I knew him for billions of years. Because he was like my oldest sister, like Lisa's friend.
He's friends with my cousin Brian.
Exactly. So like we've always known each other.
Yeah.
We're 10 years apart.
Yeah.
So I don't know where it came from, but one day we were like, oh my God, hello. So that was in 2006.
Yeah.
And it was also a time where I'm like, I really want to go back home.
Yeah, you need those time.
Yeah. And then so when we got together, I'm like, what's your plan? And he's like, I'm going back home as soon as possible. I'm like, perfect.
Like, so am I.
Yeah. So it happened just like the next year he got transferred by his job.
Oh, wow.
So that was our transition back home.
And then, if I remember correctly, you got married at Lord Errol.
Yes, we did.
I think I was dropping Tash or something. And then I just saw so many people, and I was asking Tash, what's going on here? And he was like,
oh, really? Oh, you should have been there.
Yeah.
So yeah, our wedding and date is 8/8/08.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I was about to say so.
Yeah.
And then, so that was 08. Then 09, you were sleeping, you woke up. And
you know the story.
I know the story.
Yeah. So okay. When we moved back home, I'm like, okay, this is my opportunity to do makeup full time.
Yeah. So you're doing magazine shoots.
So came home, with a full suitcase full of makeup, hit the industry running, like got good gigs with Mnet was a very big client.
Yeah. Face of Africa.
We did Face of Africa, we did
Project
Idols.
Fame.
Tasker Project Fame was now with was it Citizen or who? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was on Citizen, yeah.
So so I am a trained media makeup artist.
Yeah.
So anything media related.
Yeah.
And then that's one of my forte type of thing. So but where the waking up that morning came in, it's like now I'm trying to replenish stuff in my kit. Like I'm working
and you're seeing things expensive, like
everything was way overpriced. And
then they're not for
and
African
everything
tone.
Imported.
Yeah.
Even like not the good brands, right?
Yes.
So it wasn't like at that time it was just like really
mediocre.
Yes, everything so mediocre, bad ranges of colors even, and then what I would buy in the US for $10 is like $90.
Yeah, exactly, 10 times the price. Yeah.
So I'm like, this is not sustainable. I'm waiting to travel. I'm waiting for calling my brother in New Jersey,
someone to
being
bring
like,
something,
please
yeah.
go to the Mac store and buy these 4 things. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, so this is not fun or sustainable, and I can't be the only one suffering.
Yeah.
So let me create my own. It was actually always in the head somewhere.
In the hindsight, yeah.
Yeah, because I was looking into my notes and I had all these ingredients lists that I had put together when I was still in the US.
Yeah.
So when I woke up that morning and told my husband, you know what, I'm just gonna make my own. For me, it was like, I'm like, oh, like light bulb.
Light bulb moment, yeah.
But then I tell my BFF, Kathy, I'm like, oh my God, guess what? I've come up with this idea. I'm going to create my own brand. She's like, you told me this 8 years ago.
Yeah, why
that
haven't
one
you
day
done
you'll
it?
have your own brand.
Yeah.
I'm like, I did? She's like, yes, on my balcony in Piscataway. But because I'd always looked to like Bobby Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Even the founders of Mac were like, huge inspirations because these guys, a makeup artist and a photographer came up with this brand.
Yeah.
Bobby Brown, she was a makeup artist and then created a lipstick.
Yeah.
And then the
Exploded.
brand, exactly. I'm like, one day I'll do that, what these guys have done.
Yeah.
So it was always somewhere in the back of the head.
Mind, yeah.
So, so it was even just like not hard to conceptualize. So when I told you I was working with the eyewear brands, I worked in product development, which was, it's still a big part of the story because I was developing product. Yes. And product is product.
It's the behind the scenes, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And learning how to work with manufacturers and that type of thing. I found out very quickly that nobody makes makeup in Kenya. So I had to find manufacturers abroad. So traveled, looked for them. Like also, I'm cooking up the stuff with my chemist and like coming up with putting the ingredients together and like that. So I just needed somebody to mass manufacture.
Yeah.
So that was that now project.
Yeah.
So that was year one of the Suzie Beauty journey.
And then, so you finally found
the
a place in the, is it in the Far East?
Yes.
That's where you found it?
Yeah. We tried a few continents.
Yeah. And you finally found your place.
Ended up there, yeah.
And then, so Suzie Beauty launched in 2009 officially, or?
No. So the journey started in 2009. It was a 3-year-long journey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So 2012 was?
Yes.
Wow.
2012 is
that is.
So it's been in the market 12 years now.
Wow, that's a really long time. And do you remember where you had your launch?
Yeah. It was then called, okay, oh my God, one something place. Okay, so it's, oh my gosh, on Eldama Ravine Road, that hotel? Do you remember? Do you know it? Where Lynn Ngugi used to do her interviews also.
Oh, I know it's called. The one down the slope.
Yes. So it used to be called 1 Degree South.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So that's where we launched. It was beautiful. Everyone who I wanted to be there was there.
Yeah.
I cried during my speeches, like all the things, because it was such a long journey.
Yeah. It must have been so like tiring as well.
It was taxing.
And what were the challenges?
I think I still have PTSD.
What do you think were the challenges you faced like along the way to make it come to fruition?
So year one was spent with the brand creation and product development. Year two was I spent testing what I've created on everyone who'd sit. I'm being a makeup artist, so I had many clients sitting in my chair. So I test on myself also. Okay, so that was my first guinea pig. Yeah. Eric was a bit of a guinea pig also. My cat and dog also. And then my clients, I would test on them, even blindly for them, where they're like, "What on earth have you just put on me?"
Yeah.
Good reaction. Good. Okay, got that right. Tweaking, perfecting.
Yeah.
That was year two. Year three was the worst, which was fundraising.
Yeah.
Because I needed a chunk of cash.
So did you go like you went like looking for venture capitalists? Or,
yeah. So it was anyone, any possibility. Because then, we don't even know where to start, right?
Yeah.
So had to be very open-minded about it. We did pitch after pitch after pitch. until you're blue in the face.
Yeah. And a lot of doors shut on you. Like
yes.
It takes long to get one which will open.
Yeah. So people just go to the bank.
Yeah.
They don't deal with startups. Like it's fact. Do they do that now? I don't even know.
Probably. Yeah.
Do they deal with startups now? I don't know, because I'm a new startup now.
Yeah, I know. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, but it's not. That's still not easy. So we got 2 investment groups that invested.
Was one Mali Rasili?
Yeah.
My dad was a director. That's how I know. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, they were. I think there were like 20 people in the group.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those 2 invested, and then we also got a top up from what was Chase Bank then to launch.
Yeah.
So finally got to launch.
Oh,
So
nice.
3-year process.
And during this process, was Eric still working, or he had to help you full time?
So he was still he worked for as long as he could. Then at some point he came on.
You could see this is
full on
too,
board.
too much for
It
you
was
to
too
handle.
much, yeah. Like I was running around like a wild chicken,
Yeah.
headless chicken. I had like, a few not employees, but like, okay, I'd had a sales manager, Rose, my girl Rose. She even has her own
Rose
company.
N.
Yeah, Rose Tongondu.
Yeah.
She was like my sidekick, my sales manager. Even before that, I'd like sort of gotten on some makeup artists to help me with the gigs were getting too many and it was a lot. So my number one protege, his name is Steve Kobe. He's like one of the top makeup artists in the industry now. So I had like a few people around me, but Eric now was doing what I call the yucky stuff, which like operations and finance and like that. Yeah, and then eventually like we created a small team.
Small team.
At our peak, we had maybe about 10 employees. And that's all we needed. And then a whole bunch of girls in the field.
So like once you started in 2012, like were you mostly doing activations, or it didn't matter?
Yeah, no. So I was now. So my forte is the product development and then marketing and PR. So I've never done any paid advertising.
Yeah.
Ever. Until today. Like ad agencies don't like me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm not paid. Like I can do this myself. Like I just talk a lot.
Yeah.
And that's how I got the name out there. So we would do a lot of like sponsorships.
Yeah.
Happened to be at the time. There's also like all these events happening, like fashion events, beauty events.
Like fashion high tea, all of those things.
Those things. And then so we would go and do all the makeup backstage. So on our cost, and then so we jump onto their publicity.
And of course, word of mouth spreads, and then that's
So any like the billboards all over, our logo is there.
Yeah,
like active, and then activations are a big thing as well. Like with the malls and stuff, like Junction was really supportive.
Yeah, so and then you had those carts like with your makeup.
Yes,
I saw them in most malls. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So Junction, TRM. Which TRM and Yaya is still there.
I've seen one in True Rivers, I think. True Rivers has
we
one.
had a shop in True Rivers. We had a shop in town. So all that was still throughout the years. It's just like still so much trial and error.
Yeah.
Like I thought like for sure when we have a shop in town, we're done.
Yeah.
We never have to work a day now. Like
but that's not true.
It lasted a year and then we shut it down.
Yeah.
Because it didn't work like we thought. So a lot of trial and
error. Yeah,
a lot all day, every day, learning on the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's come to 2015.
Yeah.
The business you can see is thriving.
Yes. So it was a lot of great uptake and a lot of good but scary problems because we were constantly out of stock.
Oh, okay.
Because of too much uptake.
The demand was too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
More than we
could supply.
Supply, or more than we expected even.
Yeah.
So we also knew we needed a stronger
like
partner,
injection. We needed an injection.
Backbone, more money. So we were looking for a strong strategic partner.
Then Flame Tree came in.
So went back into the markets, put the word out, pitched a lot again.
Yeah.
So yes, who we ended up after very, very, very many months of talks was the Flame Tree Group. They wanted a full acquisition, which was a big, big decision to
make. Was that hard for you? Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I'm like, I liken it to giving your baby up for adoption because they can help the baby be educated and fed better than you can.
Exactly.
With your resources and abilities.
Yeah.
So that's what happened there. So, I didn't start the business to exit.
Yeah.
But that's what ended up happening, which for all entrepreneurs who know the story, they're like, write 10 books about how you got that done, because like a lot of people start businesses to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's only we're a tiny handful of like people who exited the business.
Yeah.
And it's like it's revered even. But yeah, so it was a big,
Big decision.
sometimes painful
Yeah.
decision to make. Yeah,
And
but it was for the greater good.
yeah, that's true. And I forgot to ask you, how did Suzie Dada start?
SB Dada.
SB Dada.
The new baby. So, I ran Suzie Beauty under the Flame Tree Group for a 5-year sort of sign on, which I wanted to do because I needed to make sure the brand continues.
Yeah.
And the transition had to happen. But the 5-year was renewable if we want to. If we don't want to, it's fine. It's also a non-compete.
Yeah.
That means I couldn't do anything else in the industry. And so through the years, I was just watching the industry like grow and blossom, and even a few local brands popped up. Like, you know, so Suzie Beauty will always remain the first.
Yeah.
But there's now
Others which
new
have popped up,
ones,
yeah.
which is great.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people wanted to collaborate on this and that, and I had to keep saying no because of the non-compete. So the 5 years came up, and I knew I wasn't renewing that because Suzie Beauty was fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's good, right? It can continue going.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And I can do more.
Yeah.
And so but then now I had to like, okay, when those 5 years ended, we're like, okay, it was a happy little divorce departure. And then now I'm like, okay, what is this more that I'm talking about, right? So I had to, like, even talking to mentors, talking to advisors, and everyone's like, do another one. I'm like, I could. Okay. So I had to go back into studying.
Yeah.
Now a lot of research and what's happening in the industry, and also a lot of new players. What's good? What's interesting now? So Maceo was 1 when I launched Suzie Beauty.
Wow.
He's now 14.
Yeah, I met him when he was born.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm picking him up from school. I'm seeing that girls walking out of class with bright lip gloss on their lips. It's 4 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, how come you guys
Back
are
in your
all
day,
this
they
makeup?
never used to do that.
Never, of course not. We weren't even allowed.
Yeah.
So I'd like actually stop them. I'm like, how come you have makeup on? They're like, because we're allowed, like, from year 9, blah, blah, blah. So just even like looking at my friends have daughters who are now like 8 and whatever. And the little girl's makeup party is no longer a jumping castle. It's a makeup party.
Yep.
So I'm like, this is something to look into.
Yeah.
And then also hanging about, like, when the boys are with their friends and whatever, I find Gen Z's like ridiculously interesting.
Yeah.
And like, they're so fascinatingly fun. I'm like, let me look into the kid. So SB Dada was born there. So that was the inspiration of it. And because they're fun and different. And so how about like a nice, young, trendy, exciting brand?
That was a demographic you attracting.
Yes,
basically.
that's what I was attracted to. And then so I'm like, okay, let's spread it out to Gen Zs and millennials. So I've been talking about Gen Zs and millennials since 2022.
Wow.
As they're doing what they're doing now.
Yep.
I'm like, see, I told you. So that's what it was. So I just created a brand around them, what they're interested in, and then also just keeping it very trendy and fun. And then also I've been studying them a lot and doing even the focus groups with them and whatever. Where do they live? Everyone lives online, right?
Yeah.
So keeping it as online or tech forward as possible.
Yeah.
So we've also created our own tech, which you can do, your virtual try-ons and like be able to buy online.
Yeah.
I'm doing most of the sales online.
Yeah.
We're not gonna have any like
Physical
shops
stores
anymore.
these days are obsolete.
That's brick and mortar is on its way out.
Yeah.
So we do have. So I have a storefront where my office is located in Lavington, but then we'll also be using, and we haven't started stocking them yet, but like 2 Beauty Box and Super Cosmetics will stock there.
Oh, wow.
When I'm ready. So it's been a very slower than I thought it would be process, because I'm like, we have to do it slowly and neatly and correctly.
Yeah.
So no rushing. It's this one is not a sprint. It's such a marathon. To get it right.
Yeah.
Because my audience is also very particular.
They are very. Yeah. They know what they want. Yeah.
Exactly.
2018. How did CNN approach you?
Oh yeah, they called me for an interview, and I'm like, it's okay. So
Because they call
and
you the
they
face of beauty, actually. Yeah.
the face of African beauty.
Yeah.
So that's what they dubbed me as, and for that interview. But yeah, so we did that. It was an entire day of
Shooting.
interviewing.
Yeah.
Like we even went to like Nate's school because
Wow.
he was performing in a play. So just like to show my like daily
Yeah.
life type of thing. So we did a lot of it at the Two Rivers store, and that was a catapult.
Yeah.
Also,
That also like propelled you to another level.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you, CNN.
That must have been really. And who was the reporter at the time?
His name was Ibrahim.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's amazing.
I know. I'm like, thank you for picking me out.
And
because
then
that was a good one.
also you were a finalist for African and businesswoman and
Women in business and government.
Yeah.
Like they've given me like 5 awards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like even to date, so like everyone's like, what inspires? I'm like, the accolades are very fun because I'm like, what? So there's like 38 awards now.
That's crazy.
I know.
38 awards. Have you heard that? 38.
and counting.
And counting. Yeah, of course. There's more to come. If you look back, who would you say like are your inspirations or your mentors?
So I have a few, and some of them they don't know that they are, right?
Yeah.
So Bobby Brown for sure.
Of course.
I actually sent a copy of the book to her.
Oh, wow.
That she will receive in her hands because my brother
lives there.
In the same town. And so Bobby, I love like Lily Singh. I'm scared of saying Beyonce because everyone's yelling at her right now. But her just because I think she's done everything so well through the years. And then here who are one-on-one is so Gina Din.
Of course, I know her very well. Yeah.
Patricia Idao is one of them. My friend Wandia, I'd say is definitely one of them. Yeah. So when I'm stuck in like, back against the wall and like, or banging my head, on the wall, like those are three I look to.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
my mom.
Of course.
1,000,000%.
But your mom doesn't live in Nairobi, does she?
She lives in Nanyuki.
Oh, that's why I thought you were from Nanyuki. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tash is always saying he's going to see her in
Yes.
Nanyuki.
Yeah. So that's my boy Shags.
Yeah. And how often do you get to see her?
Oh, like every month or two. Yeah. Either she comes or we go.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And then now becoming an author.
I'm a published author.
Yes, you are.
How bananas.
And I love the title.
A beautiful journey.
Yep.
And I'm so particular. It was not beautiful. Beauty. Full of beauty.
Yeah.
Because it's more than just the
very apt. Yeah.
yeah. More than just the industry. Yeah.
And what made you decide to go into publishing? Or you?
No, nothing. I did not.
Just
as much as I did not plan to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Or I call myself a beautypreneur. As much as I did not plan to ever even write a book. But the publisher, his name is Doso Radido, Zion Pearl Publishing. He approached me and it took him 3 years to convince me to write.
Wow, 3 years.
Yeah.
So he was very persistent.
He tried. Exactly. He tried in 2019.
Yeah.
He's like, write a book. I'm like, no. 2020, please write a book. I'm like, why? He's like, because how many books? Okay, so there's people who write books and then have been written in the books.
Yeah, I get
without even knowing.
Yeah.
1 billion articles, blah, blah, blah. He's like, how many of these exist? So like, just put everything in one place.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I'm like, so after like year 3 of that, I'm like, so 2022, he caught me at a time where I'm like, so I'd like, I was like sort of conceptualizing SB Dada. I had a lot of freedom in the head. I'm like, fine, okay, let's try this. So he was fully instrumental in the process because I didn't write. I talked. I talked it.
And then he put it into
words.
Yeah.
And then a lot of editing. And here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Launched it a few weeks ago.
And being a mom of 2, I think that's your greatest joy.
Oh my God, those babies of mine. I still
can't believe how old they are now.
Yeah, 14 and 11, my boys. And they're just fun. They make
Now they're your friends.
they're my little friends.
Yeah.
They make every day great.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what would you say is different in the beauty scene then than it is now?
Oh, so different.
Yeah.
The industry has grown and grown
Yeah.
and grown, and it's so fun to watch. So and the African beauty industry in general. Africa in general,
Yeah.
also, like there's a reason why there's such an influx of international companies coming here. I forgot to mention when I was talking about SB Dada, from a business standpoint, also, there's 1 billion people living under the age of 20 in Africa.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So who is the audience? I mean, who's the customer, right? So that's only who to cater to. Like, I'm a relic. No, I'm not the one.
Yeah.
So the industry has grown and grown. There's so many more players in it. So many international brands have come flocking in, which for me, there's like everyone, like there's this nervousness. They're like, oh my God, like, what are you gonna do? Like, look at these guys are coming. I'm like, good.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Like, we all need each other.
Yeah.
Right? I can't do everything.
Yeah, that's true.
So I need them as much as, they might need me. So it's just so much fun to be a part of and part of the growth.
Cool. As we come to a close, we'll play a quick game.
Okay.
I'll say one word, you reply the one
Oh
word.
gosh. Am I ready for this?
Mr. Eric Wakabi.
BFF, wonderful human.
Miss you.
Is that a word?
Yeah.
My heart.
Nate.
Oh, my sweetheart, my sweet, sweet baby. The most interestingly challenging human on the planet that I like adore.
And last but not least, the beauty industry as a whole.
My entire passion and inspiration. I defined my purpose in 2019, which is to be an instrumental contributor to the growth of the African beauty industry. So beauty is life.
Yeah, wow. And as a parting shot, what would you tell someone who'd want to be like an upcoming or future makeup artist or makeup guru like yourself?
Jump in. It's such a fun industry. It's a beautiful industry. No, all the pun intended. And there's space for so many of us, and to keep growing it. Yeah. So it's limitless. Join in, jump in.
Suzie, thank you so much.
Thank you, sweetie. Thank you.
I had a good time.
We
could have talked the whole day.
I know. I'm like, was that 10 minutes?
No, it's been an hour. Everybody, awesome. Thank you for watching Thai Talks. I hope you subscribe, like, and share with everybody. I'm so proud of having Suzie here, and I'm humbled.